The Monster of Frankenstein. Okay, I get it. He's not the most handsome guy in the world. He's rude, he doesn't have any social skills or self-control, and he scares the villagers. He's not a bad person, though. He's just misunderstood. Now, in the movie The Bride of Frankenstein from 1935, we see how the monster is longing for companionship, for a friend. The monster is lonely, who wouldn't be, right? In an everlasting obsession to create life, the doctor and his former mentor, Pretorius, decide to make him a mate, a specimen to procreate with. They make him a bride. Unfortunately, the bride wakes up, sees the monster, and starts to scream. She rejects him immediately, not realizing that she is in fact a monster herself, leaving him heartbroken. I would like to talk to you about love today. But first, let's talk about monsters for a bit. Throughout history, monsters in mythology, literature, popular culture, as horror movies and science fiction novels, have always been creatures from the in-between. They are not human or animal or technological. They are not male or female. They are not natural or supernatural. They can be everything all at once. They are built from parts. Part man, part bull, for example, like a minotaur. Part horse, part eagle, like a hippogriff. Part woman, part fish, like a mermaid. Or part man, part robot, like a cyborg, the Terminator or Robocop. Or the monster of Frankenstein. He was the first ever cyborg to appear in literature. Sewn together from different parts, bolts and screws, human parts, brought to life with electricity. It's alive! The in-between scares us. We like our things pure and whole and perfect, like a baby, like God intended, as we learned in church. Natural, as we learned in our biology lessons, where we are neatly distinguished from plants and animals. Man from woman, black from white, nature from culture, hetero from homosexual. We have a natural reluctance to mix things up. That's why we say you shouldn't play God when a woman gets breast implants or lip fillers. It's why we waver when we hear about a chip implanted into a human brain. It's why the thought of a pig's heart transplanted into a man's body makes us slightly uncomfortable. It's not natural, we say. Unfortunately, this is where transphobia comes from, where xenophobia comes from, where homophobia comes from. Because God forbid we would fade biology's dichotomies. Fortunately, this is why we laugh whenever we see a duck-billed platypus. I mean, what is up with that? Is it a duck? Is it an otter? Is it a reptile? Who knows? When it was first discovered, it was actually considered a man-made creature, sewn together from different parts, just like the monster of Frankenstein. In 1985, biologist and science philosopher Donna Haraway wrote a manifesto for cyborgs. In this manifesto, she uses the cyborg as a metaphor for humans in modern-day, highly technological society. Now, this was before we had the internet, before smartphones, before nanotechnology and genetic engineering. This was before we were able to grow organs in a laboratory and before we started dating online, for example. And still, Haraway saw that tech became part of us, part of who we are. We grew together with technology like actual cyborgs, like creatures from the in-between. And she takes it even further by stating that there is nothing natural that makes us inherently human. We are not born with characteristics that unify all people in the world. We are built from parts. Parts flesh, parts technology, but also parts race, gender, class, our cultural background, our upbringing, our traumas. That is why we are all different. I love this metaphor. And I've borrowed it a million times because it gives us a different perspective on what it means to be human. Not one person is as biology describes or as God intended. We are not whole. We don't have a natural origin. We are sewn together and constantly under construction. We are monsters in the most beautiful sense of the word. We're alive. This talk was supposed to be about love. So why am I babbling on about monsters, about cyborgs? In the last 3 years, I've interviewed about 150 people about love for a regional newspaper. People who had just fallen in love, people who lost the loves of their lives, people who had been looking for love in all the wrong places, and people who had just been together forever. And I noticed something that I would like to share with you. To most people, looking for love means looking for the perfect partner. And at first, when we meet this special someone, we mostly see how perfect they are. But of course they're not. We are broken identities, sewn together from all our different parts, bolts and screws, brought back to life after numerous bad experiences. We are scarred. We are unstable. We are at the verge of falling apart, and we're just trying to fit in, like the monster. And then in this highly technological society, someone sees your Tinder profile, says, swipe left. Just like the bride did. The couples I spoke to, who had been together the longest, the happiest, the strongest, were not just the ones who were able to see through each other's imperfections and accept them. There was something else. They somehow felt that their partners were shaped as they were out of all their different parts and were able to connect that with their own parts, bolts, and screws. They realized, unlike the bride, that they were monsters themselves. They would support each other's weaker parts with their own weaker parts. They would tend to each other's scars. They would turn a screw every once in a while, and they would hold each other to keep it all together. And they would never knowingly pull the stitches wherever the skin wasn't fully healed. They built a strong relationship out of both their parts, and they grew attached. I don't claim to know the secret of real love. I'm just happy that it actually seems to exist. But what I would like to ask you is to embrace each other's monstrosities and to acknowledge your own. Because we might just be perfect for each other, because we're not. Thank you.